Hey there. Today I want to talk to you about something you have the right to do. Sometimes we don't realize we have this right, and if we don't realize it belongs to us, we won't do anything about it. For Victorious Souls, we have our 4 core values. One of them is taking ownership, and this is closely related to that. Today I have my Own It shirt on. To take ownership of what belongs to you. So I want to talk about the word reclaim. Even compare it with a word called repossess. You're probably familiar with that term in a movie, or maybe you've hopefully not encountered it in your own life, of someone having their car repossessed. Or if someone gets evicted from their house, they had their living place repossessed. Well, all repossession is the rightful owner reclaimed what belonged to them. That's what I want to talk to you about today, is you have the right to reclaim everything that belongs to you. What do you need to reclaim? That would be for you to decide. You might be going, well, I don't need to reclaim anything. Well, then let's look at this. And what might be something you need to reclaim? If you have suffered trauma at all in your life, you may need to reclaim your sense of self. Do you struggle with your identity and who you are? You may need to reclaim your sense of value, your sense of worth. Do you struggle with self-esteem and comparison with other people? Have you been through a betrayal that is still affecting you? You may need to recover your sense of trust and your sense of self as well, for that betrayal goes deep and wide. If you had a rough childhood, you may not remember much of it, and you may need to reclaim your inner child. I just did a letter the other day about writing to my younger self. I've heard of this before. I've thought about doing it before, but never did. Finally, I did. I sat down and wrote a letter to my younger self. It was very cathartic to do that. Maybe you need to reclaim your younger self and own the parts of your story that you have rejected about yourself. And it could be as simple as sitting down and writing a letter to your younger self. How you need to go about reclaiming this depends on what it is that you need to reclaim. Do you feel like you have lost your sense of purpose or direction in life over the last couple of years because of the pandemic? You need to reclaim like a sense of purpose, a sense of destiny, a sense of fulfillment in your life. Maybe something that you promised to yourself and you've let yourself down, and you need to reclaim that. The whole point with reclaiming is that you have the authority to do this. You're reclaiming something that belongs to you. That's how you can do that. If you go to a wedding or a fancy place, a lot of times they will have a coat room. You will check your coat. And then after the event is over, you will go and reclaim your coat. No one looks at you like you're nuts. Why are you coming back to do it? It belongs to you. The same thing about your value. You have great value. How do you measure your value? Where do you get your value from? Do you feel like you don't have any? Do you feel worthless sometimes? If you do, then you need to reclaim your value because you have great value. You need to reclaim your sense of that, your feeling of that. And that's an inner work. Maybe you need counseling, maybe you need coaching, maybe you need to read a book, but you need to do something. If you're struggling with your value, you have great value and you have the right to reclaim that. God has put so much value in you. There is greatness inside of you. And one of the things I love to help people do is tap into what I call their God-given greatness. There is greatness inside of you. It can look like anything. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be a huge thing. Maybe you want to climb Mount Everest. Maybe you want to be able to drive to the grocery store by yourself. What it is not as important as what it is to you, because you matter. And I'm Danielle Burnock from DanielleBurnock.com. that lady on the internet who loves you, who wants you to go from surviving to thriving. And if you have lost a sense of yourself or lost your ability to love yourself, lost the ability to laugh at yourself, whatever you have lost that was yours, you have the right to reclaim it. You have every right to go back and reclaim what belongs to you. Some people struggle with this. If they're a Christian, you need to just let God do everything. Well, you know what? God reclaimed something. You're like, how? What? Well, humanity was lost. They turned their back on God. They wanted to be God, in essence. They wanted to be in charge of everything. That's, if you want to be in charge of your life, you don't want any part of God, well, you fall into that category. Because God loves us and he created us. We're amazing creations. I mean, think about humanity, their capacity and their mind and their wills, their emotions, their bodies, the ability to break records and so many things that humans are able to do. You have amazingness inside of you. Maybe you don't use a word like that. I like to use all kinds of different words instead of all those things that people hear all the time. Fancy words. I don't use a lot of fancy words. I make up words. And I do things live and I trip over myself because I really love you and I want you to see that I really care about you. I'm genuine. I'm not putting on a show. And I want you to own all that you were born for. That's why I have my shirt. Own it. That's why I have my book, Because You Matter, How to Take Ownership of Your Life so you can really live, to reclaim your courage. Do you need to reclaim courage? Are you scared all the time? Do you need to reclaim your mind? Are you wrestling with mental problems? Maybe that's just your thinking. Maybe it's a mindset. Maybe it's trauma. Maybe it's chemical. I don't know what it is, but if you have lost that, that's something you have the right to reclaim. God gave you a mind and you have the ability to reclaim that. He wants you to own that. And your emotions, they're an amazing gift for you to be able to own them and learn how to listen to them and use the skill to use them for what he created them for. Or if you're stuck in your past, for you to reclaim your future by processing that past and being able to deal with it so you can move forward and get unstuck. But whatever it is that you need to reclaim, I would like to help you if you would let me. I would like you to reach out to me on my website, on the coaching tab, work with me tab. You send a little thing, 3 little questions, reach out to me. We can do a little discovery session. It's only 15 minutes long to see if we could work well together and if I can serve you and if we'll work well together. So I want to help you live your best life because I do love you. So until next time,